Let's get to the blend game, where we're playing hashtag zombie movie blend, and we'll let our resident horror expert go first. Jake, take it away.
My choice I feel like is a little cliche, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of you guys picked the same one. But I'm going with 28 Days Later. This idea of and Walking Dead ended up doing it years later, and I feel like kind of gets more credit for doing it, but we forget that Danny Boyle did it first. This idea of waking up in the aftermath of a zombie insurrection, and this idea of walking around and going like, wait, what happened? Mm-hmm. You know, we're so used to sort of kind of seeing, you know, the virus breakout or the animal bite somebody, or we're kind of, you know, but the fact that, you know, we're literally, you know, no pun intended, skipping 28 days after, and all of that stuff that most zombie movies are about, we're skipping.
What was the hook? Was he in a coma?
He was in a coma.
Okay, I forgot that.
And he wakes up in a hospital and is walking that great shot where he's walking over the bridge and you can see Big Ben behind, and, you know, there's trash is all over the place. And you know, I feel like at that point, then we really started seeing in the 2000s, a lot of different movies with people running around and, like, you know, desolate, you know, Will Smith in Times Square and Tom Cruise in Times Square, you know, all these, you know, we really started seeing that. But I feel like that's one of the first ones where people were really like, what the hell? And, you know, it was really one of the first big movies that had, you know, these zombies like really at just a virally fast pace, like these really fast zombies. I just love the idea. And it also, like, you know, it's also like emotional, you know, that scene where Brendan Gleeson very quickly has to say goodbye to his daughter because he had the blood drip into his eyes. Oh yeah. And he knows that he has just moments where he basically says, look, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. And like, just like, so it's a terrifying movie. It's a great, unique, fresh angle to a movie that we've been seeing since, you know, for decades by this point. And also just gritty enough, early enough in Danny Boyle's career where it's not super polished. I kind of felt like 28 Weeks Later was just a little too polished and blockbustery. And so I don't know. I went a lot of different directions within the zombie the genre, it's subgenre, and but I couldn't get past anything as good as 28 Days Later.
Kev, did you pick that also?
No, it was something else. Did you go with that?
I did not. No, so go ahead. What's yours?
Do you want to go next?
I'll go next.
Go next.
I don't really care for zombie movies. It's not my favorite genre. Even the really great examples of it, I just don't find all that interesting. When I'm seeking out certain horror movies, I wouldn't necessarily gravitate toward a zombie movie. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just that the threat of them feels repetitive, that it's hard to make them unique and different. And like the biggest argument comes down to like fast zombies or slow zombies, but they're all just like mindless creatures that want to, you know, chew your flesh or do whatever they want to do. So
it sounds like a premium episode, by the way.
So I like it. You may get that topic in a little bit. I like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I almost chose that. I ended up wanting to gear more towards the comedies, and instead of picking Shaun of the Dead, I picked a movie called Night of the Creeps. Have you guys seen Night of the Creeps before?
I have not.
Night of the Creeps rules. It's from 1987, I want to say. And it's very similar to the type of movie you've seen before where a blob-esque type creature lands on our planet, breaks off into tiny little insect creatures. They look like slugs, and they move very quickly along the floor. And they go up into your mouth. They jump into your mouth and they infect your brain, and they immediately turn you into a zombie. And there's a police officer on a 1950s, it's like shot black and white, he's at Lover's Lane, and he's trying to break up the couples that are all together. And turns out some of the couples are zombified, right? Like they got infected by these little aliens and they turned into zombies. But the only way that you kill a person who's zombified in Night of the Creeps, you have to do a combination of two things. One, you have to shoot them in the head and blow their head wide open. But then you immediately have to blowtorch the slugs that are inside the person's head. Because if not, when you blow the person's head open, the slugs go everywhere and then they infect more people. So it's like a comedy, and like a romantic comedy sort of thing, because there's a college that's going on, that is going through like the sorority beats of the 1980s, where the cool kids are trying to ask out the sorority girls, and there's a nerd kid who thinks he has a date, sort of thing, and he ends up teaming up with the police officer, and they have to take down all of the creeps on the night of the homecoming dance. And there's just so many great jokes packed into it. Like, there's a great see, I don't want to give too much of it away, but there's a really great sequence where like a bus filled with meathead fraternity guys is on their way to go pick up the women for the date, for the homecoming, and they all get infected. And I don't want to tell you how, but it's a really funny way that they all get infected. And it's this great character who plays the grizzled police officer, he was the young officer in the beginning of the movie, and he ends up becoming the grizzled police officer later on, and he's got to come back together to fight the creeps. It made me appreciate zombies and what you could do with zombies in that instance, because it makes a lot of jokes about how slow they move and why can't we fight them, because it just should be much easier. So if you haven't seen it, Night of the Creeps is really, really funny. It's got some really great 80s humor in it, and it builds to a tremendous face-off between zombified fraternity guys and sorority guys and this nerdy person with a flamethrower on his back. You should definitely check it out. It's really, really
sounds awesome.
Dude, you saw what a sell, man.
I'm all in. Yeah, I loved it. It's really great. So that's my pick.
I went with Zombieland only because I just think that choice. I love Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. I think they're brilliant writers. I'm also a gigantic Metallica fan, so if you have 1,000 frame per second Phantom camera filming a slow motion,
that's pretty great. Those credits are great.
I mean, the credits at the beginning of that film, they use this Phantom camera. They're going 1,000 frames a second, and you have "For Whom the Bell Tolled" by Metallica blasting during these awesome credits, and like the way they use the words on the screen and the double tap language. And for me, this was a great movie because I also loved the love story in it. I also loved Eisenberg and Emma Stone's love story mixed in with the chaos of how ridiculous this film was. At the end of the day, this movie is kind of spoofing or joking about zombie things, but it's also taking itself just serious enough where I'm entertained, but also on the edge of my seat, also grossed out. I mean, the whole zombie kill of the week when they drop a piano on a zombie was just, it was just insane. I mean, those, and to me, I try to think of moments in a movie where you just become so floored as an audience member, and I think that nothing made me happier in a long time than seeing Bill Murray show up in that film.
God, such a great cameo.
And I just think, and here's what's great about that cameo. Every time I watch it, I've seen Zombieland at least 10 or 15 times. I pray that Eisenberg won't shoot him. Like every single time, I'm just like, dude, I hope maybe this time he'll realize that Bill Murray's just joking. Remember, Bill Murray walks in, he's joking like he's a zombie, and then Eisenberg shoots him, and it's like this such a sad scene. But I'm glad they did it that way because it made it so emotional, but also fun. I mean, the fact that they had Ghostbusters costumes on, they were doing "Don't Cross the Stream" bits, and I think it was just funny. Well, don't they make a joke about another actor who's a zombie? And like Bill Murray's like, I saw him last week. He's doing great. Eddie Van Halen? Don't they say Eddie Van Halen?
Oh,
Isn't
God,
Eddie Van Halen?
Really sad. Is it really?
I'm almost certain that there's a bit in the film. Someone double check it, but I'm almost certain that Bill Murray mentions seeing Eddie Van Halen at like somewhere else in the world of Zombieland at some point.
That's weird.
Someone double check that, which is it is in there.
I didn't hate Double Tap. I thought Double Tap was pretty good. I don't know if we needed it, but it was pretty good.
Double Tap was unnecessary because like that's what made Zombieland so special, was because it was so unique and so much fun. And I think Woody Harrelson, one of his best performances. I love Woody Harrelson in Zombieland. Yeah, I just really think that they have so much fun with the clever nature of that story. They mess with the concept. They have fun with it. It's new enough. It's fresh enough. And then if you add heavy metal music and slow motion, I'm in. I mean, I just love those movies.
I love movies where you can. I feel the same way about the Ocean's movies, where you can just tell that the cast is genuinely having a good time and getting along and enjoying. I feel like you can absolutely tell that the leads in Zombieland are just having that. You can tell they all really like each other, and you can tell that they all really, it's something that I wish this show had.
Also, you throw in a theme park at the end. I love theme parks.
Yeah,
I love theme park.
I love theme parks too.
I love a theme park in a horror movie. I don't know why, but it's fun. Like that one piece that's like going down like this. That's like swooping up the zombies, and then they go up. What's that thing that shoots them up and they come down? And the zombies are like crawling up the whatever it was. But I thought they were so. They use space really well to have fun. And then the whole Twinkie bit. The Twinkie bit is classic. Him trying to just get a Twinkie at the end. I mean, it was like, I don't know. I just love that movie. Love Zombieland.
Audience picks. Benjamin Price, Jess, Brian Stever, and many, many more picked a film that I haven't yet seen, but I've heard really great things about, Train to Busan.
Dude! I was getting ready to ask you this question. I got so many tweets about this. It's a 2016 Korean film.
It's on Netflix, I think.
It's supposed to be phenomenal.
I looked it up. I want to see this movie. Everyone is saying it's phenomenal.
We should all watch it.
And I know that they did a sequel to it recently, and it wasn't as good.
It wasn't good.
Apparently, but that Train to Busan is supposed to be amazing. Marcus Brown and No went with Dawn of the Dead, 2004, the Zack Snyder version. Janet Metzger and many others went with Night of the Living Dead, obviously going with the classic. Real James, Dante, and many more went with Shaun of the Dead.
I love Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's really funny. And Indy Christina said Resident Evil. So thank you very much for participating.
I like
this
the
week.
first Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Were there underground in the hive, the first one?
I like that one too. And that has one of the coolest deaths ever. Remember like remember that big like laser thing that comes at that guy and slices him into
that was fun.
Into sections.
Yes.
Hot take by the way. Snyder's Dawn of the Dead better than Romero's.
Yeah, I think that's true, actually. Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is phenomenal.
Is that a hot take or is that...
I think a lot of people feel that way.
All right.
Yeah.
Really?
It's lukewarm at this point. I think some people prefer the original, but I think a lot of people know that.
And also, I think it's one of those things where like Romero rightfully gets credit for like kind
consumerism.
Of what we think of the zombie movies these days. Yeah. But by no means is he like the end all be all in terms of quality. Yeah.
I went back and rewatched
saying that. Yeah.
The opening 7 or 8 minutes of Snyder's just to see if I was going to pick it, and it's it's so phenomenal.
Movie's amazing.
Really great. I know. You forget how good that was. Like that was another really good one that plunged you into like, oh my god, we're at the zombies already.
We're there.
Oh my god, it's starting. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Next week's. I was going to say zombie game. Next week's blend game is hashtag sci-fi horror blend. So I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of debate over what counts there. If you're going to be hanging out in the Alien franchise or the Terminator franchise. Are Terminator films horror films?
One of them might be.
One of them might be. So,
did you see Salvation?
Come up with your pick for sci-fi horror blend and share it with us on social media using the hashtag sci-fi horror.